Hello, it's time. Today's stream is gonna be very short. I have shit I need to get done today. But I wanted to go live, nevertheless. So I think it's gonna be big silhouette moment. I'm gonna be big silhouetting it up on this thing as far as I can create the creative juices to flow. And then I'll dip again. It'll probably be like, I don't know, half an hour or something. Not a very long stream. Um, but I can get in here. Got a closed studio. There we go. Oy, oy, oy. Still figuring out exactly how to make these silhouettes work as something that doesn't look fundamentally silly. Um, and still is actively using design elements. I think it makes sense to kind of go in with a bit of a pose at first, to be honest. Or like a bit of an idea of what is interest. Well, you can always do these sort of, the like weirdly round dresses that kind of go down like this. Get those. That's too big. I feel like fundamentally I should probably have something of that big round part somewhere. Or I should at least think about it. But in some of these I'll probably just ignore it completely nevertheless because I particularly want it everywhere. I don't feel like it's the most interesting part of this design to me. Like, yeah, sure, it's a big part of the whole vase is this circle, but I don't think that circle is that interesting. TBH. Um, One could make a robotish design out of this thing, no? I just make something that distinctively isn't human. Nobody said I can't do that. I kind of like that idea, actually. Make a robot in robes. Work on hard edge. That's not something I'm very comfortable with generally. And that could be cool. Filigree robot? Consider it. Fuma. That's an interesting one. Actually, I really like this random ass line going in here. I think that looks hype. Uh, I might go with something like this. Hmm. I want something more elegant, where like the whole orb idea is a little bit less pronounced. Man, something about really thin necks look kind of cool. Back on robot design. Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're like inherently doing this like big block type dress thing, it just doesn't look anywhere near as appealing in silhouette form as like many other things do. Like creating an opening in it immediately makes it look more interesting. Just because there's just way more visual interest in doing that kind of thing. Or making like just making it inherently asymmetrical, making it go inwards or something, and then like you have the legs like here, and then the dress actually just does something like this. Goes in. I think this is a more interesting looking silhouette than what I had before. I'm just gonna Control C this bunch so I can look at what was there, if it still is in the history. It's like this is, yeah, it exists and there's a character to it, but I don't think it's that compelling. I think in my mind right now, the two of the most interesting are like this one, this one. So I think I could do a little bit better on this. Oh. Ulu. Ah, hello, Derek. I didn't even hear you come in. uh, round to the bottom? Maybe. I mean, I did start with just making it one big blob shape, right? Which I was not a big fan of. I'm just gonna hold on. Because like doing this gives it like a distinctive shape. It just like also removes a lot of interest. Which I'm not sure if I love. And I mean, we can do the more round thing, but like this sort of thing is what I started with, and I don't enjoy it necessarily. Like you can do this, now it's a bell shape. You can do interesting stuff on the inside of this. I think this is a bit wacky looking. Like I don't think that looks amazing. So I think this is the best I would do. I mean, you want me to just make a circle here? I'm not doing that. I'm not doing this. um, I don't think this like looks great. It just looks like a puffy marshmallow. Oh, okay, this is how I indicate that. That makes sense. I think this is the better version of this. No, I don't. Hello, I'm drawing real quick. Like, because as much as I could make that one, like, really round, I don't necessarily just want things to be round because the container is round, right? There's other interesting design elements I also want to explore, and there are things I can still do with the roundness. This does not make sense, this leg. We got Ornstein and Smog in here. I think this is what this thing is. That's the kind of energy we need here. Just the head be bigger, maybe. Just a little bit. Should I make stubby little legs? Stubby little legs, not very big. This is what we need here. It is kind of fun trying to get into like design ideas of like body types I'm not really used to. It makes me very, very aware of how not used to I am of like working in these kinds of designs and these kinds of design languages as well. Doesn't even need to be symmetric, actually. I could just like make it weird like this. There we go. I mean, weird can be perfect. In fact, I want it to be both. You're going back to like the robotic idea with these. I think it got on my mind. Like having robot parts or just being fully robotic, I think is like an interesting idea to work with. Hmm. Okay, I like this one. I don't think I'm gonna do it, but I like what it is. Doesn't really represent the kind of stuff I want to be using for my personal design later. But I'm happy to make that silhouette. So I think odds are very high for this one. But that will be much later. Okay, I'm gonna do one more. What do I want? There's so much round stuff in this. What if I just start with something that's completely not round? And just go from there. Then we add the ornate on top. I'm thinking of like a tree type man. Servant of coffee. Uh, oh, space I pressed B instead of C. Sure, it's a collection of shapes. I have made an abstract sculpture. I'm just trying very deliberately to not like do something that is completely just natural for me, like not the shapes I find natural to do. Just get in here and get weird to push the boundaries of what I'm thinking of when I'm making these intentionally. So I think it's a good exercise. Probably doesn't lead to the best outcome, but it's going to lead to better outcomes in the future. What is this even? uh, just a reminder of what's possible when you put fucking ink on the canvas. Just put some shit down. It's gonna turn out a way for sure. Yep, that's good. Gotta have the weirdo silhouette. Very important. Okay. Now I'm just gonna think for a second if I want to, because I remember now. I forgot to include all the spirals, which, like, admittedly I could put more spirals in, like, um other places on the designs, like inside of them and all that stuff. But I didn't think that much about them when I was making them. I just don't. I'm looking at, like, I don't know where I'd put the spirals even beyond, like, put them on top of things. Right. Arguably, this is spiral now. Like, it's there. Trust. And I can put it on, like, the mask here, for example. There can be some stuff quite easily. I'll look at that. It's one of the most prominent, like, design features beyond the. I think I'll make it work later, and I think still very much so I'm gonna be using this one. I quite like what it is, and it represents something that I want to be working on anyways, with the more flowing robes. So yeah, I like the robot a lot too. I actually probably would work on that one as well if it wasn't because, like, I don't think I'm I don't necessarily think it's what I'm working towards at the moment, because I'm still intending to make, like, a human design in the end. I might work on it though, because it has a lot of interesting stuff on it. At least make a sketch. But I don't know if I'm finishing it. I'll have to see. It'd be funny at some point if more people ended up coming in to watch this. I could do, like, a poll of which one I used to do eventually. If I do the same exercise again, of course.
I feel like there's certainly something I could do with this, but I don't know if I really care enough because I am pretty certain I am not going with this one either way. But I think at least like adding a little bit more detail to this, as I have done, has already added a lot more interest. Maybe it does. I wouldn't know. Alright, there we are. Yeah, I think it's a toss up between. Well, I still think I'm gonna be designing this one for real because there's a lot of stuff I think is compelling about this, and I'll probably make like a sketch of this off stream and post it or something. Uh, Try to get some hard edge in there. I'll see. Depends on how much time I end up feeling like I have. Um, that was honestly all I was gonna do for the stream today because I'm busy. I have the university work I need to do, so I'm gonna have to head off again, despite the short amount of time. So, uh, yeah, I will see you around. Thank you for stopping by for this brief moment.